beatification has been launched of Archbishop Paul Vetekov. Yes, it was launched in January. Yes, so he's considered a saint. His course of beatification has been launched, and he was a student to Professor Fonlon. Professor Fonlon taught him doctrine.
Yes,
yes. You see the connection? He brought him up.
Yes. And even someone taught him in secondary elementary school.
Exactly. In Chachison. Second hand. So let's
go. When I went to Vetekov,
yes.
We went to
the yes. Tell me about that. You went. Vetekov was the Archbishop of Bamenda. So from there you went to Kumbo, where Fonlon was buried.
And I said mass.
Oh, okay.
When I actually Vetekov.
Okay, you know he was buried beside Alphonsus Aghaizu.
And I went to the grave and said,
okay.
And then you saw the sister.
I see.
Valencia.
Oh, exactly. In who lives in Fontaine Street. Interesting. You still remember?
Yes.
This is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. So in your letter you mentioned this, and then after you said that you look forward to the beatification of Professor Fonlon. I want us to talk about that. According to the anecdote, could you elucidate the anecdote?
The anecdote.
Yes.
I wrote it in that
memoir.
See, I said and confirmed the rumor.
Okay.
That Fonlon.
Yes.
Yes. He was a politician with but he was for the building of Cameroon amalgamation.
Exactly, the unification.
Unification. He was fundamental.
He was, because he was an interpreter.
He was an interpreter. He knows French.
And English.
So, and I know he's a learned professor.
Okay.
He studied in
Cork and
so I got to know,
yes,
as I said, that for Fonlon there was an atomic test.
Yes.
Some part of Cameroon.
That's true.
Which wiped out the whole village.
It wiped the whole. Animals were all dead. Nyos.
And Fonlon got to know about this.
Okay. Fonlon was in Canada at the time. He had gone to Canada for.
No, he was not. What I said that he was lured out. You see, French Canada. Where did he go? French Canada.
Exactly.
Not in British Canada.
No, it was French Canada. It was
Canada. And the French were in Yaoundé, isn't it?
Exactly.
So he was lured to that lecture. And they know he's going to talk about that.
Okay.
The thing.
Yes.
That in these lectures they put in loudspeakers.
Exactly.
Some of them was gas. And he wasn't suffering from heart attack.
Exactly. I was wondering why he died. He said he died of asthma. How can that be possible?
Asthma. He was giving lectures and he collapsed. There was the gas. It was the gas, and I believed it.
Okay.
And then when he came back, it was announced he's dead.
Yes.
They gave him Gaddafi that French I think he died, but at 85 he was still longing to be removed. One of these Africans that don't want to be removed, to think they are meant for rule forever.
Okay.
Gaddafi, BC or something.
In Cameroon?
The Prime Minister of Cameroon is
okay. Mr. Paul Biya.
Paul.
The president. Mr. Paul Biya. President Paul Biya.
Problem.
Paul Biya. That's his name at the time. 1985, you said?
Yes, the time of Fonlon died.
Yeah, when Fonlon 86. So the president at the time was Paul Biya.
Paul
Biya.
Okay. Paul Biya.
Okay.
And he knew all about this. When they said they covered it up and gave him a magnificent funeral.
It was a magnificent funeral.
Yes, in order to cover up.
So that was not
there was a foul play. That's how I heard it, and I said, I think I believed it.
Okay. So he went to Canada First of all, he went to Guelph to get an award, an honoris causa, which he got at Guelph. From there, he went to Ottawa, where he died in the house of Philemon Yang, who later became Prime Minister of Cameroon. He died in his house.
Exactly. When he was giving lecture.
Maybe it was after giving lecture. But I heard from Professor Lanto that he died in his house of asthma.
Was he suffering from asthma?
That's a good question to ask.
And why didn't they ask? They just, you know, that's what I want to say. So what I concluded is that
White martyrdom.
Son of white martyrdom, white martyrdom.
That's a very interesting point.
Yes, they must be the only those people are gone, but history will show.
History must show
That what happened. That's my rumor. I said now that one of the things.
Unconfirmed rumor.
Confirmed rumor. I got to know it.
Okay.
And I believe it today.
May he so rest in peace.
It's like himself that he will let people know what happened with that wipeout.
Why do you think Fonlon was wiped out? Why did you think they wanted to do that to him? Because he had been a good person in Cameroon, a contributor. He worked with the first president, Amadou Aghaizu, for so many years.
But the thing is, this is Europeans.
Yes.
We don't know which country did that contest.
That's true.
You see? And they cannot escape. I don't think the Frenchmen did that.
Yeah, because it wiped out the whole village. Lake Nyos.
Yes.
The terrible. So I'm trying to understand the Lake Nyos incident with Fonlon in Canada, in Ottawa. So Lake Nyos, there was it killed many people while Fonlon was in Ottawa at the time, giving a conference. That was 1986. Yeah. That was why when he died, Cameroon was already in a very difficult situation because we were suffering from the Lake Nyos. Lake Nyos, there was a serious pollution from the Lake Nyos that killed many people, almost 200,000 people and animals. But Fonlon was in Canada at the time. So I'm trying to understand from you, what's the relationship between Lake Nyos and Fonlon in Canada? I don't understand the white martyrdom.
What I'm saying is,
yes.
I didn't even know what these other things.
Okay.
See, but what I know is that this unconfirmed rumor.
Okay.
That was the time. I don't even know which president.
Okay.
But this unconfirmed rumor.
Okay.
That Fonlon got to know about.
Okay, he got to know about this incident in Nyos. And then
he was lured, as I said in
you noted he was lured
to go to this lecture.
But why was he lured to go to the lecture? Because they know he's going to give this lecture at some time. Okay.
But the guy to cover up and lured him to Ottawa to give this lecture.
So he got his honoris causa in Guelph, and then went to Ottawa to give a lecture. What was the lecture about? He didn't get any.
I don't know, but I know cool that he died in the. He died in lecture, giving the lecture.
Okay.
And it is from, when they're giving a lecture, they put all sorts of gadgets in front of
That's true.
And one of them is a gas. Because they don't want him to leave. Because if he leaves, he say it, and by now they're talking about that thing and then the lecture.
Okay. Maybe because he was talking about
it.
So that's how they
limited. This is my unconfirmed
rumor.
You see, I don't know.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you for mentioning that. It's always good to mention.
The only the people those are gone, but it would be very interesting to find
know
the truth.
Because Professor Lantum, who was a very good friend to Fonlon, traveled to Canada to find out what killed Fonlon.
Did he?
And I interviewed him, and he said it was asthma. That was what he suffered from. So maybe he suffered from what you are talking about. After that lecture, he suffered asthma. And
he died in the lecture. Collapsed.
Collapsed in the
According to my rumor.
Collapsed in the lecture.
Yes. And this man you are talking about came afterwards.
Yes.
And with all, you don't know what these Africans
Can do.
Can do to cover their
evil deeds.
Their colonialists.
Terrible.
You see?
Yes. Thank you very much for that important point.
You don't know what they can do to cover their bodies.
So you were in Ireland, you suffered racism and discrimination, and it's unfortunate that we have such things. It's unfortunate.
Now, we'll see if Kimmage,
Yes.
I will be forced myself if the kids lecture where this thing came from Kimmage. I was all right in Kimmage. The only thing this boy implicated Kimmage in the whole thing.
Okay.
And one of the fathers was telling me,
Yes.
he said, when my confessor,
Yes.
when we did something, the story is like a man who was traveling in the road
Yes.
and he looked in the side of the road and saw a corpse lying down. And then he stopped his car and went to the then touched the corpse.
Yes.
And then took out the gun there, looked at it, get it, and then came out and drove away. And then the road was accosted by police. And they touched his hand and saw footprints and blood. And then they went and looked at the car,
Yes.
and they saw his footprints in the car.
In the car.
They said that he murdered them. Reason. Start giving evidence.
No evidence.
What is that type of evidence? Circumstantial evidence. He was hanged
Oh my God.
because he wasn't savvy enough to know that if you meet a thing like that, you shouldn't touch.
Don't touch anything. You just to call the police.
You call the police.
But he was innocent. He touched.
He touched and thought he was trying
to help.
So that's how he claimed my own. That's what happened to me. I walked into the trap. I didn't know how the tongue really scheme anything. I got all the refugee petitions.
Okay. Against you.
So I was up to an order. My superior had all the time was in Nigeria.
Okay.
I didn't know when the student was there. But what they did now,
Yes.
was that when I came back home and went back and stayed in my father's house.
Okay. Where was that Oli? At Oli?
At Owerri, in my father's house.
Okay.
For 50 years, 40 years.
14.
The same as.
Is that what you describe as limbo?
No limbo.
Theophilus. Okay. So that was, unfortunately you could not say mass at that for 14 years.
Sit there, no bed.
Oh my God, why?
There was no bed now.
Why were there no bed?
At the time, my father took out the bed.
Why did he do that?
Because he was sitting and I was in this side of the room.
Okay.
Where will he sit on the ground? What bed are you talking about? It's wooden bed. It's wooden bed.
So you sat, you didn't have a bed?
No, armchair.
Armchair. For 14 years.
God alone knows why. But the nation said, no people ask me, why did you go there to check? Said, don't ask me. They tell me, it will be no opinion longer.
There's something very interesting which I wrote about that incident. I said, however, for 14 years, he really confined himself in a private home in their family house, describing Msgr Theophilus Oghaizu as limbo. Unlike normal limbo, where peace and calm reigned, this peculiar brand of limbo was marked by sorrow, anguish, confusion. That's the experience he went through. It was sorrow, anguish, and confusion that he went through for 14 years, orchestrated by a man-made odds dictated by racial prejudice. Yes, the experience he went through, it was orchestrated by a man-made odds dictated by racial prejudice. In spite of all this, God showed his mighty power, and there he stood, the great Iroko, the person that you are, towering high and standing tall, even in your old age, to the amazement of doubting Thomases. So despite those 14 years of limbo, you came out very strong, and it was the Lord's own doing, and you remain, and it remained marvelous in our sight. And thanks to that, you have always charged every Catholic Christian in Igbo land to be I wrote this thing down, to be 4, 5, to be. So in summary, those 14 years were not very easy years for you.
No. My father at this time, my father died.
Okay.
And I could stay for more years until I came out.
So during those 14,
how did that come out?
can you answer that question? How did you?
I don't know. I don't say it.
Okay, so it was God's grace. It was something very personal.
No, yes, because something happened, and at one time I got unconscious.
Okay, really?
And I wondered, in my sleep I saw the parish priest.
Yes.
Anointing me.
Anointing of the sick.
Anointing of the sick. The parish priest of my parish.
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw a mom.
Yes.
I raised my hand and touched his blood.
Okay.
And I said it up.
Wow.
Then the next time I saw myself in the hospital at Okoro.
Yeah.
And I was injected.
Really? But that one was not in the dream, it happened.
This one, yes, when this time I woke up.
Okay.
And then after that in there, I was taking the hospital. The next time I saw myself at the Owerri.
Really?
Bishop name.
You saw yourself. Who took you there?
There's some people, I don't know who took me there.
Okay, so you were unconscious.
So when I came to the name,
Yes.
I got my confusion. And then he sent me to Aba,
Okay.
to one doctor there, who had been with him as a man.
I see.
And they were give me IT. They were very friendly with me. They didn't give me the other patients.
No.
Yeah?
Okay.
What I was hearing them all say, I said, no, why not the authentic suicide? But I don't know, they were talking well.
So the bishop was very helpful to you during that difficult moment.
Yes, and then when I came out 1 month from that hospital,
Yes.
he told me I've done Trident Mass.
Yes.
Trident Time Mass.
Yes.
He told me to renew order,
Okay.
to prepare it. Only 2 weeks to prepare it.
Okay.
And then on the one day of when I finished, we said Mass.
Okay.
From there, then it was a Catholic.
Okay.
when I celebrated my Silver Jubilee in 1979.
Okay.
And he sent me to Arinza to pilgrimage
In Rome.
to Israel.
Israel. Okay.
To pass through the corner.
Okay.
What is this like?
Interesting. Okay.
So that was how I came. When I came back, I stayed there. Then in 1979, he posted me to
Uganda.
I said that till 78. I came to 86.
We came to St. Paul till today. What I say is, everybody tells me you are loved by everybody, almost everybody in this St. Paul. Everybody wants to see you because of your wonderful and distinguished work you have done for the past years, the fertilization.
Well, then they are saying it.
Yes, they are saying it. They are saying it. I've been reading a lot about you, and they are saying it a lot, and it's really admiring, you know. It's really a great example for the future priests. You're a great example for the future priests. You inspire them, and it's really lovely to know that.
And look at one thing that the latest.
Okay.
You see, when I this priest
Yes.
is on the way,
Okay.
he has come to America.
I know him very well. He's called Father Samuel Kelechi. I knew him here in this house in 2007 and 6 when I came here for holidays. You remember? Yeah. Ezoku was here as a seminarian at that time. Yeah, in fact, I even met him in the United States. He came to visit me in Washington.
Okay.
Oh my God! What a wow! Theology in the classroom, a lesson not 1951, 1954, and an archival legacy, Msgr. Alphonsus Aghaizu. So he has done this wonderful work. Msgr. Alphonsus Aghaizu done a tweet in honor of my 95th birthday anniversary. With the clerical permission of Msgr. Anthony Obinna, who is the present Archbishop, organized by Father Samuel Ozoku and Father Pascal Ikiekeze, sponsored by Father Albert Inze,
Who is my principal here before he left America.
and printed in Maryland, Baltimore, where Father Samuel studied. This is wonderful.
This is, he brought home 3 copies.
Okay.
He said they printed 60, but he sent them now. Will be coming from Cargo. But he brought up 3.
I see.
And gave me 1, took 1. I said, you then give the Archbishop 1.
So only 60 copies. You should print more and so that many people may.
Yes, who will be interested? See.
Yeah, they are all.
They say even from what they wrote here.
Yes.
The man
Introduction. Yeah, the foreword was written by Father Pascal Chinemere Mogo in Rome. He's a student in the Pontifical Salesian. Okay. So this is a wonderful archive.
Yes. And my God.
This is your own. Okay. And then it's an introduction by Father Samuel Ozoku. Okay.
He's coming to replace the Chancellor.
He'll be the new Chancellor. I know him very well. I knew him in this house in 2006 when I came here for holidays.
When I got the notebook.
Yes.
When I got this notebook. Yes. When I came back from Ireland, after so many years, when they broke my tongue.
Oh my.
But when I left Ireland, I actually put portmanteau.
Okay, we left all the other things.
In the mall, stole my books.
Yes.
They brought it back. And when I was transferred to Guam,
Okay.
I left there. I went on hunger strike.
Why?
That was me. Because, and then this bishop, came and opened the door. brought me out there.
After
me in the car.
Okay.
And sent me to University Hospital.
Yeah, you told me after 14 years.
After, yes, and I stayed there now. For that billion thing. You see?
So that's a very, very serious
and
experience.
then when I came out here, and I said,
Yes.
this father, Gabriel Eche,
Yes.
who would come and arrest was the first in
To be old. 1958.
Then they brought me a notebook.
Okay.
My theology notebook.
Yes.
I didn't ask him because of happiness of seeing it.
Okay.
I didn't ask him what about the others. I was so too happy I got this. This is Zuku.
Yes.
Was in Owerri at that time.
Exactly.
And they wanted to get to type it out for me.
Wow.
And he was typing and telling me to vet it for him.
Okay.
Type of work. Then I fell ill. And the hospital said that I was training myself. And I was training myself doing this and translation.
Okay.
For accommodate theology. They don't want to lose me
Okay.
because
of all this stress.
This we didn't believe that.
He said
So
no.
when he was going to Europe,
yes.
he told the priest to bring me both my notebook and the watch better. And he said that he did the rest.
Okay.
That my book, this is my book.
This serious work in Latin, some notes in Latin.
Yes, they say that there in Rome,
yes.
they call this my book Athena Nigeriana. They want to teach as a study.
Yeah. About Nigeria.
Yes, because all the
this is serious work, really.
It's serious work.
He typed it and it just goes. I know him very well. I'm going to send him a message. I'll make sure I see him before I go, so that I can also buy a copy.
He hasn't gone to Bishop's house.
Okay.
In the cathedral.
This is good work. Congratulations.
More will be coming.
No, more will be coming. More will be coming. I'm also going to write a book about you. I'm going to write a book about you. You know, I studied at Ikotekene myself, philosophy. And during the holidays, you received me here for 2 weeks in 2006. You don't remember? I was with the seminarian, Samuel Uzoku, who is now a priest. He was still a seminarian here. Yes, and then after that, he was ordained, and I left for Mexico. I left to Mexico, studied Spanish, and then I went to Italy, then to Canada to study canon law. I met Father Samuel last December in Washington. He came to visit me at my uncle's house in Washington. He came to visit me from Baltimore. We have a picture we took together. And he told me he was doing a doctorate in Rome.
Yes.
So he has graduated.
Yes, he has. And he's going to be
the new chancellor.
Meanwhile, he hasn't packed into the
Not yet.
No, at the cathedral.
Okay.
But the parish priest out there. From there, he brought me this.
Thank you so much, Monsignor. We have had a lot from you today. To conclude this interview, there are some things I would like to ask you in conclusion. Why do you think that Fonlon's course of beatification should be considered?
When I heard about it, you told me.
Yes.
You see, for one thing, I remember that my idea was about that white martyrdom.
Yes.
If not for anything else.
Yes.
And I read also his recommendation to Bishop Commander and the reactions.
From all over the world, reactions to that letter.
And